Achim, good to have you here.
Yeah, likewise. Good to see you again.
As every year, we are going way back together in the Europe days.
Right.
And most people do know you, but for those who still do not know you, please share who you are and what GTAI stands for.
Certainly. My name is Achim Hartig. I'm working with Germany Trade and Invest. And Germany Trade and Invest is the investment promotion agency and trade promotion agency of Germany. So I'm responsible for all foreign direct investments coming to Germany, inviting companies from all over the world to do business in Germany. And particularly, we are supporting innovative companies who want to set up shop over here.
Lovely. Thank you. You yourself are right now talking to us from Berlin, right?
Yes, that's correct.
You want to share the regular weather report?
The regular weather report, it's 4.8 degrees outside. The weather is overcast and it's pretty chilly though. So nothing like walking along a beach, nothing like thinking about sunshine or something like that. So it's pretty fresh. Yeah.
That's true, right? So now you have a very good market overview. What German medium and small size companies want and need. You're talking to them, I assume. So can you let us know a little bit, what are the main technological interests that they share with you? Which Israeli startups should know, okay, my technology could really be a good match for them?
Sure. I think what's important to know is that the ecosystem of small and medium-sized companies is huge in Germany. So if we're looking at Germany, we're looking at more than 3 million small and medium-sized enterprises. So even if I would say now, look, this technology is less demanded, this is more demanded, given the size of the whole ecosystem, there's still a huge market. Before I go into the technologies, let me share with you that there are more than 70,000 companies which have more than 50 employees. There are 300,000 employees with more than 300,000 companies with more than 10 employees. And if you're looking at large companies, which are very interesting for to do trade with, development with, to have business partners, there are more than 6,500 companies with more than 500 employees. So this is pretty significant. And if you're looking at the markets, it's the different technologies.
Excuse me, please. I want just 1 minute to tell you about your question, Chang. After this session, you have a break. So if you would like to continue the session, continue the session. Goodbye. Good luck. And do you need something else?
Bye.
You can see that down the screen, there is moderation panel. If people ask to come inside the session, you just do plus and they can come in. Okay? Cool.
Very good.
Sorry, Achim, continue. I'm sorry.
No worries about that. No worries about that. Looking at the different technologies in the German market, of course, we have a stronghold in production industry. And if you're looking at the production industry, there's a plethora of a variety of technologies which can be applied over there. It starts with production control systems. Everything which is connected with Industry 4.0 or Internet of Things is relevant to modernize production and to maintain quality and lower cost. In particular, this could be sensors technologies. This could be communication technologies. This could be technologies about how to make digital contracts on a micro basis between machines or between companies or between client ecosystems. That particularly means, and this is a very important part, which is also stressed by the government of Germany, this means also cybersecurity. And in the aspect of cybersecurity, Germany has a huge demand in all systems, be it in the public space, be it in the communication system for companies. We just heard Tim Höttges speaking about the development of the communication systems in Germany and how important it is to have fast internet everywhere, where his company has a major share in supporting this. And also there, the aspect of security comes into place for private people and for companies. So security is another aspect. And then if we leave these micro segments, we can also look at let's say 5 large segments which are demanding now for companies and which offer huge market opportunities. Which is, for example, given the situation we are in now, the pharma and medtech aspects. Again, security and the digital technology is one thing. The other is how to apply really the medtech. Then we have digital infrastructure, everything which has to do with hardware and software. We have in Germany innovative and climate-friendly mobility solutions. So how to enable technologies to become efficient to serve for mobility and logistics. And we have everything which has to do with with trade and supply chain. So the organization of trade and supply chains also is an area where Germany is demanding and which is hugely receptive, and we offer there a large market.
I think that is good news, because it means that you basically cover most verticals that we have to offer here on the technological side. It means that really, I think that, and we heard this previously from Tim Höttges, CEO of Telecom, that Europe is actually the better choice, and it seems that Germany is even the best choice.
Yeah, well, I get paid for saying that, but if you don't, so I'm not neutral at all. I'm publicly involved in it, but let's take it the other way around. Why don't you ask the companies who have been in Germany, and they will tell you probably 2 things, especially if they come from Israel. Thing number 1, we heard from Tim Höttges, Germans are critical first. So thing number 1, Germans are too slow. They don't get their things in gear to really start fast. But thing number 2 is, once you're in business with Germans, it's pretty solid. And once you have established the connection to them and have made business with them, you don't want to leave, because it's a reliable source and you really can work very well together.
Achim, let me stop you here before you send our Israeli startups to Poland or Romania. And let me ask Tom Fillinger, who has joined us, to briefly introduce himself. Tom, we're zooming in now from the macro German perspective to one of the hottest and sexiest German federal states in terms of what our technology perspective, which is Baden-Württemberg. And Tom has 2 hats, which is one, being connected to the region, but especially being also an investor. Tom, please to you. And after you have introduced yourself, please also, after we heard now the overall German strengths, also briefly tell us what are the specific Baden-Württemberg strengths.
Thanks, John. Yeah, my name is Tom Willinger. I'm the CEO of the Zukunftsfund. That means Future Fund in Germany. The Future Fund in Heilbronn is focusing on technologies. It's a family office, coming from the Schwarz family, and we're investing since 15-18 years in technology as industry-related technologies, and also medical or pharmaceutical and biotech technologies. And we have had some access, but the focus is to get these companies in our area, to get them more strengthened by the relationship to the industry in Baden-Württemberg. And I carry on with the question, Sean, you mentioned the question on Baden-Württemberg. It's one of the states in Germany in the southwest area, Stuttgart area, and maybe also the industry from Daimler and Porsche and SAP. These are the most popular and most biggest brands in our area. But beside that, we have tons of mid-sized companies. Means like mobility. We have more than 17,000 companies with 200 billion sales. We have 6.8 thousand companies in medical engineering. We have more than 800 companies in medical device. Pharma, it's 100 companies, and healthcare, it's roughly 280, 200 companies. So you see a huge density of companies, mid-sized companies, bigger ones, and smaller ones. And so we have to close the question, or the answer of the question, Baden-Württemberg is the powerhouse of Germany, and I think it's powerhouse also even within Europe to the connection of Israel.
And now Achim gave us earlier, he gave us an overview which technologies could be helpful for the German SMEs. Which technologies would you put, or where are the pain points for the Baden-Württembergish SMEs? Which technologies especially do you think should come to you, maybe less to Berlin or less to Thuringia or other places, because that's what's really your strength?
Maybe I can point out two areas. The industrial manufacturing, they're working on a product quality inspection, for instance. They're working further on intelligence maintenance. And the third topic is real-time optimization. So they're totally focused on Industry of Things, and they need the collaboration with the technologies and the startup ecosystem in Israel. Further on, secondly, totally AI-driven is automotive, our biggest sector. This sector is working on product quality inspection, intelligence maintenance, and product validation. So where the mega trends in Baden-Württemberg are electrification, digitalization, and autonomous driving. These are the master, and we need to master this together with the startups, and they are very keen in interaction with these specific fields. And thirdly, maybe we have the production areas. They're working on product development, process control, AI-driven quality control, and then energy management, and certainly demanding planning and safety. Everything with connection to big data and the collaboration with the international world is focused on safety. So there are huge possibilities to interact between startup companies in Israel together with the Mittelstand companies in Germany or in Baden-Württemberg.
Great. So we might keep them in Germany in the end and not send them to Romania, Achim. Now, as I work for the German Chamber of Commerce, I get mainly one question from Israeli startups. How shall we do it, and how do we enter the German market? Do we need a distributor? Do we need to open an entity? Is it enough to have a salesperson and do everything remotely? And I'm directing this question to you, Achim. What do you think is best?
Thank you. There are basically three different ways, or two different ways, if you want, for a startup to enter the German market. The German market, like many markets, is a lot about trust. So let me put this first. If you are in the market, if you're personally in the market, you can build up trust. If you can build up trust person to person, you can do business easier. So that's the basic rationale. And you decide yourself how far you want to get away from this, increasing or decreasing your chance of doing business very fast. So my general consulting would be, yes, you have to have a person in the market, or maybe you even should found a company, but it depends on your means, and it depends on your expectation, on your capital, and so on. So, but yes, you should have a person in the market, number one. Now, how to do this, especially if you're a startup? I want to point out that we have lots of so-called clusters, ecosystems, or digital hubs, where startups from all over the world can come to Germany and have a co-working environment, work together with universities, work together with German Mittelstand companies to exchange experiences and to see how it really works. So it's a kind of safe environment to test things. By the way, we have two of these hubs represented here in the Europe Days as well. It's Marco Meyer from Hub Mannheim, Ludwigshafen, Digital Chemistry and Digital Health, and Christian Gnam from the Hub Munich, InsurTech, who are, check out the program, who are also presenting here today. So the hubs, they are a soft way to enter the market. You can really try something. And for all other questions, you have the federal states which help you, and you have Ask Germany Trade Invest who help you free of charge to figure out what is the best way to settle down. You can contact me or any of our colleagues during the session or afterwards at any point
from your perspective, do you you have a lot of medium-sized companies in your network. Do you think they prefer having the people on the ground and even a GmbH or any other legal entity, or it doesn't really matter?
So, for sure, to make business, you need to come over and get in touch with your customers, and it's certainly it's recommended, highly recommended, that you open a local entity. It's not so easy for international guys coming over to Germany, and therefore we can offer a service without charging a lot. We have shelf companies on stage, like GmbH corporations. You can compare this with LTDs. So we have shelf companies. We can shift them to the business of Israeli companies. You can organize your business within 10 to 12, 15 days. Then you can start. And why to do that? You need a footprint on the ground. You need an addressee. Maybe you need also to have a look at the sales. You need certainly maybe one German guy penetrating the customers and the area. So I recommend highly to open a local entity, and that way for that we can help to also find people, find engineers, or also salespeople to get in touch with the technology Mittelstand companies I mentioned before, and so forth. Also for the family, we can get a hand to find kindergarten or also private schools to get in touch with the area of Baden-Württemberg.
And I believe this is also a criteria prior to you making an investment, is the establishment of a GmbH in your area.
We're investing the Zukunftsfund, hard to spell for English spoken people. That means Future Fund. The Future Fund Heilbronn has a daughter company, Born to Grow, and we start with investing in a very early section and phase, means pre-seed, with 500 to 1 million. But we're investing in a company which has a contact to and a direct interaction to the customers. So we try to help to get in touch with them. We have connections to roughly 500 medium-sized companies, also to the big ones, to the big players, and also the global market and the global players. We have the biggest density of the global players. So to get in touch with them and to make projects is the main focus for investment in these small companies. We don't invest in business plans. That's too less. We want to know how to act with the customers and are there demands coming from the customers, and that we can prove easily with our contacts.
Lovely. Our time is up, but we cannot end this panel without mentioning Corona. That would be a faux pas in our times. So I would like to ask you both on a very short take, each of you, what has Corona done to our SMEs? Are we now more aware that we need technologies? Did we now get the message, or do we need another wake-up call? Achim.
First, we certainly got the message. The message, we didn't need Corona to get this wake-up call, because digitalization was important for the German companies anyway. The digitalization, I think, has less taken effect in the production or in the core business, has more taken effect in the frameworks around like communication or organization of work. And there are large fields where digitalization can be applied, be it in education, edtech, be it in medtech for remote treatments, or be it in communication technologies in a new way.
You and Tom, Baden-Württemberg is always said to be it's a federal state of the innovations and the innovators, and I know that there's a lot of digital things going on already, but nevertheless Corona has showed that there is still lack of a lot of things. Do you think that now there is more willingness of your SMEs to work with startups, and also they understood that also working with startups abroad is not such a it's not an obstacle anymore, that we all got used to working digitally and remotely?
Yeah, for sure, Sham, for sure. I think Baden-Württemberg is totally focused up to now. So the history, make it the other way around. The history of the companies are hardware driven. So they have a huge base with hardware components worldwide. But they need certainly the digital projects, and I think the COVID pursuing their digital projects, and so there's a huge demand and need to get in touch with the companies in Israel. They love to get in touch with them, because otherwise they lose traction in the market, in the European market, in the international market. So it's a collaboration between the startup companies and the Mittelstand companies, also the smaller ones. I've noticed how many companies do we have in Baden-Württemberg. So it's a huge demand, and certainly, to make it short, COVID strengthened all these aspects.
This is a very good closing remark. I thank you both, and I also may refer your attention to the chat, where we have been animated to attend also other interesting things going on during the Europe Days today. Of course, is Marco Meyer, should not be missed, who's representing one of the digital health hubs mentioned by Achim earlier. We should be back to the main stage in the next 3 minutes. And I also invite you all to be part of the Baden-Württemberg booth, digital booth at 20:30 CET time. See you later on. Have a good day, and thanks for being here. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Thank you.